Hi guys, and welcome to the Göta Älv River. I'm biking upstream today, and if you have seen previous episodes, you know that the Göta Älv River runs from or flows from the Lake Vänern, which is the biggest lake in Sweden, down to Gothenburg and the ocean. And also, again, in the Viking times, this was a highway. All the transport and trade was made on the river. And this is one of the biggest rivers that runs into the central Sweden, so very important for trade. I have presently passed Novul, which is some 20 kilometers north of Gothenburg, and I'm heading to a very specific place, which is called Äskekärr. It's not a spectacular place in itself, but it's the place where they have found the Viking ship. And this Viking ship has, after that, been restored and is presently on display at the Gothenburg City Museum. So we'll see the place where it is and hopefully find some more information on the way. The ship was found on these meadows along the river, and it was actually already found early 20th century. And then nobody really realized what it was. It was just good timber that came up when you were digging new ditches. So it wasn't until the 1930s that someone realized that this is actually a ship. Some part of the wood had been used because it was oak, and the oak wood was very good. But then the museum at that time was called in. They made a quick excavation of the site and unearthed this almost complete freight ship from the Viking age. It's called the Knarr, or Nar in English. It's built the same way, like with this clinker technique that was used, with planks riveted together with iron rivets. But if you compare to Longship, it's a bit deeper. It has decking forward and aft, and it's a bit deeper as well. So it has more place for animals or goods that you want to transport. It's difficult to know exactly how big the ship was, because it was some parts have been saved when it was left here, but from the type of planks, the boarding and everything, it's thought to have been about 16 meters long and 4 meters wide. So that could take a cargo of about 15 to 20 tons. So it's a real ship. And the remarkable thing is, or one of the remarkable things is that when they found the ship, the wood was actually still not as new, but still intact. And also some of the rivets were intact. They were made from iron, and then they had lasted all this time. So an analysis was made of the ship, and they concluded that it was built in early 10th century with oak and some pine from this region. But they also found some things that had been broken and mended with wood from Denmark. So the ship had sailed along the coast, probably also inland. But it has, and another thing that is really remarkable is that it was concluded that it had been sailing for 100 years. And imagine that 100 years with a ship made from wood and iron rivets, without any protective coatings that we have today or other technology. I think it's quite fantastic. We are just beside the railway that goes north, and there is a train soon passing us. It's a lot of commuter trains here. And it's thought that the ships were left here. I mean, there are lots of hypotheses, of course, why they found them just here. But it's believed that there were shipyards nearby, and when the ships were too old, they basically left them just by the riverside, and then they were sinking down over the years into the mud. They salvaged part of the ship, like the important aft and the front, and used that for other ships. But most of the ship is intact, and as I said before, you can nowadays see it in the City Museum in Gothenburg. So to find out more, I think we need to go to the City Museum. Hi and welcome back to Gothenburg City Museum. Today again we get help from Mari Wickerts, who is educational officer and experimental archaeologist working here at the museum. And the topic today is of course Äskekärr Ship, which is quite unique. So where does it come from?
It comes from a small farmstead just up the river from Gothenburg. You go past Kungälv and you come up to Äskekärr. And there's a small farmstead there with farms. And right by the edge of it, there is a big, huge field, grassy field. Mm-hmm. And it looks like, when we've been probing on it and going on it, that there's not one ship there. We have a boat there too. They've been site dug in early 2002, 2003. Okay. And it's the best preserved boat, 9 meters long. It's still there because we weren't funded together with Göteborgs Museum to site dig it and pick it up. So there's probably a shipyard there, and that's where the river's from. It was found in the 1930s. You need ditches, otherwise the drainage water don't run off. And constantly going on to these weird kind of timbers, kind of knee-shaped and U-shaped and weird stuff, and planks, thin, super fancy planks. And they could see it was oak.
But then they actually took it up already then in the 30s.
Oh yeah, excellent exhibition that we had with the staff from the museum. Mm-hmm. But we're really happy because we have it exhibited now. It hasn't been exhibited before. It's the first time it's on exhibition. And it has been since this exhibition opened in 1995-96.
It's really nice. Is this the original size? Is that what you think?
It's a fantastic size, but it's a very small Viking ship when it comes to a trading vessel, because this is unique. This is a trading vessel, and what the Vikings called the Knarr, K-N-A-R-R, Knarr. And the Knarr has a different concept. It's the same type of ship with that simple keel that we have, you know, not the sailing keel. And then it has the boards, but the boards go a bit higher up on the side. Otherwise, it's exactly the same type of ship.
So you could take a bigger cargo?
You could take a bigger cargo because you have a platform in the back and a platform at the front. And in the middle, there's an open hole down to the bottom of the ship on the inside. And that's where the animals were protected, because they were as we, seasick. And if they couldn't see over the edge, that would work just fine. So that was the transport. You could sell fresh meat. You could deliver horses.
And is it known where it went?
Oh, the Äskekärr ship actually has been produced up by Äskekärr. So the oak and the timber comes from the site. It's been built there, so that's why we think it's been a shipyard there. We also know that it's been on fresh water, so it's been sailing on our rivers, from the Gut rivers to the Sudre River. But we also know it's been further. It ran across a ground in Denmark. And it was mended with Danish oak. That's the thing too. And it also has what we call the holder for the mast in the middle, the fish, the mast fish. And that's been replaced because the ship sailed for over 100 years. And if you raise a sail with a mast and then fold it down when you need to go in and places where it's a lot of, you know, bushes or trees around, or if you just want it down so that you'll have a good safe harbor, then it really wears the ship out all the time.
But it's quite amazing to have it maintained for 100 years. I mean, they don't have modern paint or modern protection.
Exactly. And as you said, it's unique in that way that we have a trading vessel, but it's not only any trading vessel, it's Sweden's only archaeologically site-dug Viking ship. It's the only Viking ship exhibited in Sweden. And it's the only Viking ship in the world with runic inscriptions on it. It's got runes on it, and none have. And I've checked how many ships that are 60 meters long that could carry over 20 tons cargo. How many do we have in Scandinavia? Because that's where the Scandinavian Viking ships are. And Denmark has one from Skuldelev, not far from Roskilde Museum. If people want to go there, that's
on
the beautiful.
display?
Yeah, it's on display. And then we go to Norway, and Kloster Ship is found on the, should we say, on the western parts of the Oslo Fjord, not far from Tønsberg. And the Kloster Ship is now reproduced too, so it has a copy sailing. And that's 16 meters too, and all 3 of them are trading vessels.
So these are the waters where the ships are?
Yes, it is. The Scandinavian countries, the Viking countries as we call them today. It's the little island of Hising. They said Hising, we say Hisingen today. I don't know why we do that, but Hising is the right one. And this region is way back in the early Viking age, known for a certain name. The waters of Skagerrak and Kattegat were back then called Viking. V-I-K-I-N. Viking. It's almost like you go into a Viking, you go in there.
Yeah.
But then again, yeah, it's the nomination name for the region, Viking.
So it's more like the inland waters compared to the Atlantic then?
Yes, exactly, in the North Sea. And if you say that quickly, say it quickly.
Yeah, Viking, yeah. I see where you're getting.
Viking.
Yes.
I do believe it's that way it is.
Okay.
And it becomes
But there are many
something
hypotheses
bad.
of the word,
There are
isn't it?
many
So,
hypotheses.
but this is an interesting
but
one.
we know that it has had a name Viking.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I guess Äskekärr Ship, this ship, that mainly stayed in the more protected waters.
Yeah, more the protective.
Okay, thank you very much. This has been very much enlightening, and if you have the chance to go here to the City Museum, definitely should do. The exhibition is great. You have a chance to meet the experts and get all the facts.
Thank you.
There is also a replica of the ship, which I hope I can show you. And so there are a lot of things to see here.
It's a lot of things to see.
And a lot of other things to see. So I say bye for this time and see you at another site.